Hi, beautiful young adults. My name is Lisa Humphreys, and this is Grace Muthomi, and we are here for the fourth episode of Hope Rising. So glad that you're here with us, Grace. It is, just such a treat to have you tell your story of where you've seen hope rising in your life recently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Grace?
Yeah, for sure. My name's Grace. I'm 25 years old. I've been attending Beulah Young Adults for the last 2-ish years. Um, I am a registered nurse. I work at an ICU at the Mazankowski. I like to play my piano and sing and just like spend time with friends and be outside.
That's great. What's one thing that you're looking forward to this summer?
Yeah, definitely just like spending a lot more time outside, especially having being cooped up in the house for a few months. It's nice to get out and just like enjoy nature and enjoy God's creation. So yeah, a lot more hiking and stuff is
Wonderful.
in the works.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you going hiking anytime soon?
Yeah, actually I'll be going tomorrow and then a few more times at the end of the month and stuff like that. So yeah, really excited.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, well, let's get right into the story. What was kind of where does the story begin? What was going on in your life at the time? Where does this all
Mhm.
start?
Yeah, so this particular story started probably about a month or so ago, when all the racial inequalities were kind of brought to light. It started with a conversation in a friend's backyard with Stu, our young adults pastor. In this conversation, I felt comfortable to open up to Stu and Shelby and just share my story in regards to racism and the experiences that I've had. This initial conversation led to a few more conversations over the phone with Stu over racism and Christianity. And then one phone conversation, Stu asked me if I felt comfortable and safe enough to share my story, my experiences on the Young Adult blog. So when Stu first asked me to write, like every part of me wanted to say no, but I was like, take some time in prayer, which I did. And I realized that I had to write this story for my blog and share my story. But yeah, there was quite a few challenges and a lot of self-doubt, but through it all, I was with the help of some friends and family and Stu, I was able to write a piece called A Story About Racism for the Beulah Young Adults blog.
Great.
Um, yeah.
Um,
Um,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say at the time in my life, as well as like a lot of other people, a lot of us were facing a pandemic, um, and that really kept us like isolated physically from our friends and family. Where now we were forced to, you know, focus and slow down, and we were able to focus on a lot of different inequalities, disparities, and overall inhumane things that were happening in our world, such as racism, human and child trafficking, rape, sexual assault, and like the environment, right? um, and so like all of these things were things that we should care about and wanted change for, but we were all so busy with our lives at the time to like genuinely care about it. So this time period, I guess, really allowed a lot of us to slow down and realize all the things that were happening and to start caring and speaking up.
Mhm. Yeah, that's good insight. That even though we were facing two very difficult things, having them
Mm-hmm.
together allowed a lot of fruit to come out of both situations.
Yeah, totally.
Really good. So, what emotions were you kind of facing as you were thinking about writing the blog post, and then once you were writing the blog post?
Yeah. Um, Emotion wise, like I was definitely scared, like scared because I was sharing a part of myself, a part of my story, with an audience that I just didn't know how receptive they would be or even see my story as truth. A lot of thoughts that would kind of circle in my brain was just like, what if people didn't like it? Or what if people judge me based on what I have written? Um, some challenges that I went through was just like when Stu asked me to write the blog, I really did not think I could do it. I remember telling Stu that I'm not eloquent with my words. And I don't think I would be able to make sense of the things that are happening in words. And I also didn't think that my writing was good enough to impact those around me. Yeah, I definitely spent some days staring at a blank screen, a blank page in front of me for hours, not knowing where to even begin.
That's interesting. That's really cool that you can be so open with us about, yeah, not even just the fears of what people will say, but also just your own insecurities in that way. Reminds
Yeah.
me of Moses and how he was like, I can't speak.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But
Agreed.
you took the step to actually speak and do it for yourself, which is amazing. Yeah. Were there any lies, I guess, that you were telling yourself through this?
Yeah, one of the biggest lies I told myself and I believed was that my story is not worth sharing. That there are people out there who are more eloquent, more put together, more respected and admired, who could write way better than I could and would have a greater impact on those reading than I could ever have. That was probably one of the biggest lies, just that I was unworthy of even writing and sharing my story.
That's good. Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
So where was, looking back now, I guess you can see the bigger picture a bit better.
Mhm.
But where was God working at this time? What was he doing in the midst of all this?
Yeah, I honestly, like, God was with me 100% the entire time. He was definitely working something in me, a courage that I never really had before, in sharing my experiences, and just being able to be honest in conversations that I was having, and even with the blog post that I just to be able to write my story and to share it and, be courageous in that way. God definitely used a few people in my life to help me with that. My parents, a big contributor, and my friend Emily and Stu, our young adults pastor. My parents just reminded me to ask God for his help and to just rely on him to know which path to take when writing and even like where to begin, because that was such a huge place where I was like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to say. And both Emily and Stu just reminded me that, like, this is my story that I'm sharing, and um, that speaking the truth will have a great impact on everybody, and sharing, my story. And then they both just encouraged me to write from the heart and to hear what God has to say on this topic and what God wants, to be shared in regards to the experiences that I had. Yeah.
It's so wonderful that you had them.
Hmm.
So yeah, God was working through the people around you. He was working in that situation.
Hmm.
As things came to a crux and you wrote the blog and it's out there and it's been shared, how did God raise up hope, I guess, in that situation and um, all that?
Yeah, I guess like two areas that he raised up hope was like in myself, first of all, just like being reminded that a lot of these things, my story and just being able to share it is bigger than me and my feelings and the lies that I was believing, and that God was like always in control throughout. Like I was able and I learned to surrender to God and ask for his help and reminded that this is his work and I'm a vessel. And the second area where I saw hope rising was, yeah, when the blog was finally written, got surprisingly, I got a lot of positive feedback, especially from my non-Christian friends. Some said that they really hadn't realized that this is what Jesus and the Bible had to say in regards to racism, and didn't know that like this we are to seek justice and as humans and as followers of Christ. And so through the blog post, I was able to have lots more conversations with people that I haven't even spoken to in quite a while. And I was able to even share how my faith has helped me through this time.
Wow, that's wonderful. It's so inspiring to hear, for me, how yeah, you, I guess, were self-sacrificing in a way where you kind of laid down your fears, laid down um, all the lies that were coming your way, and just said, "No, Lord, I'm gonna allow you to use me and to do whatever you want through me." And then to
Mm-hmm.
see the fruit of the work that you did is so amazing to hear, and I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I know that, yeah, those watching this video today are going to, have similar responses, I'm sure. It's
Mm-hmm.
been such a blessing to hear your story and hear how God has worked through you, through this experience, and also just, yeah, through his teachings, through Jesus's life on earth, um,
Mm-hmm.
how we are to be anti-racist and to seek
Yes.
justice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been absolutely amazing to hear about that, and I can't wait to see where even this video goes, and as you go on and continue to be obedient to God in this way. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Grace, for coming on today's episode.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching.
Mm-hmm.
I know that this has been one of my favorite episodes so far. I love you, Nika, and I promise that the previous videos were also great. Kyle, you too. But obviously, loved talking to Grace today. She has been an absolute fun. We've had a great time. Just even, yeah,
Yeah.
we've had to re-record them a couple times.
Yep.
But that's okay. It's been a good night. Yeah,
Yes.
I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Again, I'm Elisa Humphreys. This is Grace Muthomi, and I hope
Yeah.
you all have a wonderful week. Bye.
See you guys.